We're going to run through the first round of Nicolino versus Takeshi, and we'll see what type of sequences and patterns Nicolino has in his arsenal. All right, let's get into it. All right, Takeshi's going to plant this lead foot, loading it so it gets bring to his rear foot right here. And then he's going to throw his rear cross. Now, let's hone in on Nicolino. His weight's on his lead foot. He's going to push off that lead foot to his rear foot right here, loading it so he can pendulum away. Now, Takeshi's going to place all his weight on his lead foot, throw a leaping hook as Nicolino drops straight down. Now, two things to notice. First, check out how both of Takeshi's feet are off the ground. And second, Nicolino's going to push off this lead foot to his rear foot, loading it to pendulum in the direction of where that hook came from. And then we're going to just go ahead and speed through this section. Okay, Nicolino's head's over his lead foot. He's going to swing his rear foot around right here. He's going to push off that rear foot, lift this lead, and note the big step for the lead hook to the body. And let's keep this train moving. So this is in a replay. Heads over that lead foot. He's going to swing that rear foot behind him right here. He's going to push off that rear foot, step with this lead for that lead hook to the body. And we'll let this play. And again, check out how he brings his rear foot behind him. So heads over that lead foot. He's going to push off this rear foot, lift this lead, but this time he's going to snap off a jab. All right, Nicolino's heads over that lead foot. He's going to fold out his jab, but note he does not push off his rear foot. He's going to step on this rear foot, bring his lead foot back, and reset. Now, this time, instead of folding out that jab, he's going to push off his rear foot, lift his lead, and once again, looking for that lead hook to the body. Now, let's hone in on Takeshi. His head's over his lead foot, and he's looking for his lead counter as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot right here. And this will take a minute, but we're going to go ahead and buzz through this section. Now Nicolino's back over that lead foot, reoccurring theme, but this time he's going to shift his weight to his rear foot right here. Then he's going to push off that rear foot once again, lift this lead, firing that lead hook to the body. Now Takeshi is trying to problem solve. This time he's going to throw his overhand right, but Nicolino's going to pull to his rear foot right here. And once again, this will take a minute, but we're going to let this run to right about here. Okay, Nicolino's going to swing his rear foot behind him right here. Again, repeating that pattern, pushing off that rear foot for the lead hook to the body. And then we're going to let this play a little bit. He's going to go ahead and fold out his jab right there. Now, let's watch Takeshi. He's going to do a little pendulum step right here. He'll do another one here. Now, he's going to feint his rear cross. Then he's going to get back to this lead foot to throw his leaping hook as Nicolino pulls. And then he's going to throw his rear cross as Nicolino drops underneath it. Then, again, we'll let this run. So Takeshi will do a pendulum step right here to his rear foot so he can throw this rear cross as Nicolino drops straight down. Now, we saw earlier how Nicolino dropped under the hook. This time, he's dropping under the rear cross. And if you notice, he shifted his weight to his lead foot so he can pendulum in the direction of where that attack came from. And then let's keep this train moving. All right, Takeshi will step to his lead foot and pendulum. He's going to do it again, but this time he's going to come with his leaping hook. And note Nicolino's catch. Now, Takeshi will follow up the rear cross as Nicolino drops right here. Nicolino will snap off a jab. Now, if you've seen this before, head over that lead foot. His rear foot's behind him. He's going to shift his weight to his rear foot, push off that rear foot for that lead hook to the body. And then he's going to do one more for good measure. And let's buzz through this. And I know this one's going to take a minute. Okay, last clip around one. They'll both bob down over their lead foot right here. Now Takeshi is going to throw his leaping hook as Nicolino pushes off his lead foot to pendulum away right here. Now Nicolino is going to look for that lead hook to the body as Takeshi tries to time him with this overhand. And note the pull from Nicolino. Now Nicolino is going to bob down over his lead foot as Takeshi looks to catch him with this lead hook. And then let's go ahead and speed through this section. Once again, it'll take a minute. And yep, that's the end of round one. All right, let's pick up where we left off. We'll buzz through here. This is round two of Nicolino versus Takeshi. Okay, let's see what we see. Now, Nicolino's going to get to his lead foot right here. And one thing to note, check out his rear foot, how he swings it around right here. Now, he's going to push off that rear foot and then snap off his jab. But before we show that, let's hone in on Takeshi. He's going to drop to the right side of his line right here. And then he's going to come back with this overhand. Now, since all of Nicolino's weight is on his lead foot, he'll pull to his rear foot, rolling with that rear hand. And notice where Nicolino's head ends up, over that rear foot. And let's get this train moving. Okay, just to give a better angle on that jab that we saw from Nicolino. So his head's over that lead foot. He's going to push off this rear foot, lift this lead, and then fire out that jab. And once again, check out how all his weight is on that lead foot. His rear foot is completely off the ground. Now, if Takeshi was throwing his overhand right here, Nicolino would have somewhere to pull, which is his rear foot. And we'll get this moving again. This one will just take a minute. So Nicolino will fold out his jab without pushing off his rear foot right here. Now, Takeshi didn't respond, so this time Nicolino's going to push off that rear foot, take a big step with this lead foot, throwing his lead hook to the body. And note, once again, Nicolino's head is over that lead foot. Now, Takeshi drops, and he's looking for his overhand, and Nicolino is going to push off this lead foot, pull to his rear foot, right here. And check out how all his weight is on his rear foot and nothing's on that lead foot. And right here, check out this rear foot swing. And once again, he's going to push off this rear foot for that lead hook to the body. All right, this is an interesting sequence. Nicolino's going to push off this rear foot for a lead hook right here. Now, Takeshi catches that lead hook on his lead foot, and there's nothing wrong with that idea. Now, Nicolino's going to follow up with his rear cross, but I want to go down a rabbit hole here. Nicolino is aiming where Takeshi's head is currently, over that lead foot. What Takeshi could do is use his lead hook as Nicolino comes in with that rear cross, meaning they'd be punching on the same beat. So again, Takeshi's throwing his lead hook or check hook as Nicolino commits his rear cross, and his head would end up over his lead foot, right in the path of where Takeshi's hook would be traveling. And Takeshi's head would end up over his rear foot. Now, unfortunately, Takeshi wasn't ready to throw that check hook on the same beat as Nicolino. Nicolino does catch him with his cross right here. And then next, Takeshi throws his leaping hook as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. Now, Takeshi's in a step with his lead foot right here, looking for his leaping hook as Nicolino bobs down. And I mentioned this in round one. When Nicolino looks to bob or drop down, he's looking to pendulum in the direction of where that attack originated from. So he'll bob down over this lead foot, shift his weight to his rear foot, and then pendulum to the right. All right, we're going to get cruising again. I do know this one takes a minute. Okay, here we are. Okay, Takeshi's in a step with this lead foot, slipping inside as Nicolino snaps off his jab right here. Now note Nicolino's head is still over that lead foot. Check out that rear elbow's tucked to catch that hook right here. Now next, Takeshi's going to throw his overhand as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. And check out how all his weight is on that rear foot. And then Nicolino is going to start start firing off some jabs here. 3 consecutive, 4. So this is a similar setup. Nicolino's going to snap off that jab as Takeshi slips inside to his lead foot right here, looking for his leaping hook to the body as Nicolino looks for his lead counter. Now, Takeshi will jab as Nicolino drops. Then he's going to throw his rear uppercut to his body right here, drop under this lead hook, and then pull to his rear foot, rolling with this overhand. Now, if you didn't notice on that last sequence, Nicolino's controlling Takeshi's lead arm right here. And as Takeshi goes for a second overhand, he's going to control his rear arm right here. And let's go ahead and speed through this section. All right, Takeshi's going to plant this lead foot and then pendulum to his rear foot to throw his rear cross as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot right here. Now, Nicolino's going to shift his weight to his lead foot, bobbing down right here. And as Takeshi looks for his lead hook, again, Nicolino likes to go in the direction of the attack, so he'll shift his weight to his rear foot and then pendulum to the right. And then another lead hook to the body for good measure. Then let's get this train moving again. Now, Nicolino's going to throw another lead hook to the body right here. Okay, so this is an interesting sequence. Nicolino's going to fold out his jab there, and then throw a leaping hook, rear cross. Now, Takeshi's going to counter with his leaping jab as Nicolino moves to his rear foot, but then he's going to slip back in and catches him with this hook. Okay, Nicolino will put all his weight on that lead foot, snap off the jab, then lead hook, fold out 3 more jabs, parry that counter, and then 1 more jab. So Takeshi will step with this lead foot while dropping under Nicolino's jab right here. Now, once he plants, he's throwing this overhand right as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. And as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot, he loads it so he can pendulum away. And we'll let this go for a little bit. All right, last clip, round 2. Takeshi's going to push off this rear foot, throw a jab to the body right here. He's going to follow up with the rear cross and note the pull from Nicolino. Nicolino's going to catch this hook to the body. And then check out this rear hand control as Nicolino steps back. And Nicolino's going to throw out a jab. Now, Takeshi's going to throw a hook cross as Nicolino pulls, then drops. Then he's going to pull this short right here, and then drop under the hook. And that'll do it for round 2. All right, let's get into round 3 of Nicolino versus Takeshi. We've been focusing on Nicolino's sequences and patterns. Okay, let's keep rocking. Okay, Takeshi's going to plant this lead foot, push off his rear foot, throwing his rear cross as Nicolino pulls right here. Now, Takeshi's going to follow up with a lead hook. Nicolino's going to shift his weight to his lead foot and bob down. Now, Takeshi's looking to control Nicolino, keep him in place. Check out that lead hand control for this rear hook. And now Nicolino's going to get to this lead foot and fire out his triple jabs, and then bob under that hook. Now, Nicolino's going to swing this rear foot behind him. Note the square shoulders, head over that lead foot. He's going to push off this rear foot and throw this lead hook to the body, then snap off a jab. So Nicolino will swing that rear foot around again right here. Then he's going to fire out that jab. And note his weight is on his lead foot. So Takeshi's going to follow up with an overhand right as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. He'll snap off another jab right here. Hook to the body, and then another jab. All right, Nicolino will fold out his jab twice, swing this rear foot behind him right here, push off that rear foot, big step with his lead foot, but note this feint high first, then he's going to do that lead hook to the body. And then go ahead and buzz through this. Okay, Takashi's going to step on his lead foot, throw his leaping hook as Nicolino pulls right here. Now Takashi will follow up his rear uppercut and Nicolino is going to drop. Now Takashi does catch him with this overhand, and check out this forearm control. He's going to throw a lead hook as Nicolino looks to roll to his lead foot, rolling with it. Now Takashi follows up with a rear cross, and we're going to see Nicolino drop. And I mentioned this previously in each round. Nicolino looks to drop and then exit in the direction of the attack. So he'll drop here, shift his weight to his lead foot or weave, and then he's going to go ahead and pendulum in that direction. Now let's hone in on Nicolino. He's going to bring this lead foot back right here. Now, this looks wild because his feet are together, but it's the same thing. It just looks odd. He's going to push off this rear foot or right foot, lift this lead foot or left foot, and then snap off that jab. He'll fold out a couple more jabs. 1, 2. So Takashi's going to step on this lead foot, throw his leaping cross, but let's hone in on Nicolino. He's already on his lead foot. He's going to pull to his rear foot, but bring his lead hook with him right here, catching Takashi. Now Takashi's going to follow up with an overhand, and we're going to see Nicolino use the ropes to continue his pull and then counter with his own uppercut right here. Now Takashi's going to throw a leaping hook, and we're going to see Nicolino bob down over that lead foot and counter out with his own hook. Now, Takashi's going to go ahead and throw his jab, rear uppercut, and we're going to see Nicolino drop, weave to his lead foot, and then pendulum out right here. All right, Nicolino is going to pendulum off this lead foot, fire out his jab. Then he'll throw a lead hook to the body. Then we're going to go ahead and let this run for a little bit. All right, Takashi's going to get to this lead foot, throw his leaping hook as Nicolino bobs down over that lead foot. Now, once again, note the direction Nicolino exits. He's shifting his weight to his rear foot, and then he's going to pendulum in the direction of that hook. And we'll get this train moving again. To right here. Now, Nicolino's going to swing that rear foot around. He's going to push off that rear foot and snap off his jab. And note all his weight's on that lead foot. So when Takashi throws his rear cross, Nicolino has somewhere to pull to. Now, Nicolino right here thought the leaping hook was coming from Takashi. So he drops down over his lead foot, shifts to his rear foot, and pendulums in the direction he thought the attack was coming from. So Nicolino's standing square, but it's the same body mechanics. His weight is over that lead foot, or in this case, his left foot. He's going to spring off that foot and throw his leaping hook to the body right here. And then he's going to fold out 4 jabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, more of the same. Nicolino's going to swing this rear foot behind him right here. He's pushing off that rear foot, lifting that lead for that lead hook to the body. Then he's going to snap off 2 jabs. 1, 2. Another jab, hook to the body or head. 2 more jabs. And then let's let this run. Okay, Takashi's going to throw his leaping hook to the body. And note, Nicolino's on his rear foot. So when Takashi throws this rear cross, Nicolino will drop right here. Then we're going to see that exact same pattern again. Another drop. Got a tie up. And then let's get this train moving once again. Now this is an interesting sequence. Nicolino's going to push off his rear foot, lift this lead, throwing out his rear cross right here. Now notice where he ends up. Head over that lead foot. He's going to feint his leaping hook right here. Notice Takashi's reaction. Then he's going to snap out that jab. Now, he gets caught with this hook from Takashi, but he's going to drop under the rear cross right here. Then let's go ahead and buzz through this section right here. So this is the last sequence of the round. Nicolino and Takashi's heads are over their lead foot. They'll step with their rear foot right here. Now the difference is Nicolino is going to drop straight down towards his rear foot, while Takashi is going to push off that rear foot and throw his rear cross. Now Nicolino shifts his weight from his rear foot to his lead foot, loading it, springing in the direction of the attack. So as usual, he's penduluming off the foot closest to where Takeshi's punch originated from. And then we'll have a feint from Nicolino, jab, feint, lead hook to the body. And that's it for round 3. Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're getting into round 4 of Nicolino versus Takeshi. I do believe we're going to see a couple new nuggets this round. So, yeah, enough said. Let's keep rocking and see what we see. Now, Nicolino's going to look for this lead hook to the body, but he's going to bail out and pull to his rear foot as Takeshi pushes off this rear foot, lifts this lead, throwing his rear cross right here. Now, Nicolino's going to go ahead and swing his rear foot around right here, pushing off that rear foot, lifting this lead to fire off another hook to the body. And then he's going to fold out some jabs. 1, 2, 3. So Takeshi's going to step on this lead foot, snap off his jab as Nicolino parries and pulls to his rear foot. Then he's going to push off this rear foot for his lead hand counter. All right, Nicolino's going to fold out his jab as Takeshi shifts his weight over his lead foot right here. Then our reoccurring pattern, Nicolino's going to throw that lead hook to the body. He's going to go ahead and flick out a jab here and then again. And one thing to note, check out where he ends up. His head's over that lead foot. So if Takeshi should happen to attack here, he has somewhere to pull to, which is his rear foot. Okay, Nicolino's going to go to the body right here. Then he's going to spring off his rear foot to get back to this lead foot so he can go ahead and snap off this hook. Then he's going to go ahead and jab as Takeshi looks to get to this lead foot so he could throw his leaping hook. Now Takeshi's going to throw his lead to his body right here. And note, Nicolino's shoulders are square. Takeshi's going to follow up with his rear cross as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot, rolling with it. Then he's going to counter back with this uppercut right here. Then he's going to bob down under the hook from Takeshi. And here's an interesting tidbit. He's going to shift his weight to his rear foot so he can pendulum in the direction of where that hook originated from. So he's going to be exiting to the right. Then we have some movement. So Nicolino's going to push off this rear foot and throw that lead hook to the body. Then he's going to fold out some jabs. 1, 2, a little bit of movement. 3, and then 4. All right, check out how Takeshi's looking to keep Nicolino on that rear foot. He's going to follow up the rear hook to the body. Then he's going to use this forearm control to get off his lead hook. And then again, rear hook. Now, Nicolino's going to come back with this short right. Takeshi, again, is going to come back with this lead hook. And then Nicolino's going to drop down right here as Takeshi comes back with his rear hook. Takeshi's going to go rear hook. Check out the cover by Nicolino. Then he's going to look to double it up, triple it up, and we have a break. Okay, Takeshi's going to get to this lead foot and throw his leaping hook. Note this rear hand cover by Nicolino. Nicolino's going to drop straight down as Takeshi throws that rear cross, and like clockwork, Nicolino's going to pendulum in the direction of where that attack came from. Now, this is super slick. Takeshi's going to throw his lead hook, but let's hone in on Nicolino. He's going to bob under that hook and then hook out himself right here. Then he's going to go ahead and roll with this cross, bob under this hook. And another of his little bag of tricks, Nicolino's going to spring off his rear foot to his lead foot to throw a lead hook to the body. Now, Nicolino's going to get to this lead foot, start pumping out his jab. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he's going to follow up with his rear hook, then lead hook. Then he's going to roll with this hook from Takeshi right here. And what's neat about Nicolino is he could roll with that hook, or right here, he could just decide to bob underneath it. And he'll miss this lead uppercut. Then let's go ahead and speed through this section. It'll just take a minute. So they're both bobbed down over their lead foot. Nicolino's going to step this rear foot back to snap off some jabs and then a rear hook. So 1, 2, 3, and there's that hook. He's looking to get back to his lead foot right here, so he could go ahead and throw this lead hook. Then, a little talking to by the ref. He's going to go ahead and fold out a jab. Now he's looking to bait right here on his front foot. Nothing comes. Nothing comes. Then he's going to go ahead and start folding out his jabs. Throw another one here. Another one. Then we've got some movement. All right, this is interesting. Nicolino's in his orthodox stance. He's going to step back in the southpaw right here. He's going to drop under the rear hook from Takeshi. And then he's going to pull away from the leaping hook right here. Now, Nicolino's going to go ahead and get off a couple hooks. 1, 2. And then check out this rear hand control and then the squared stance for a left hook to the body. Okay, Takeshi's going to throw his rear cross as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot, rolling with it. Then he's going to counter back with this hook, then lead hook to the body. He'll jab, double it up, rear cross. And then we'll have a tie-up and a break. Now note the lead arm control by Nicolino. He's going to pull to his rear foot as Takeshi throws this overhand. Then we're going to have another tie-up and break. So Nicolino's weight's over his lead foot. Takeshi's looking for a rear uppercut. And Nicolino's going to shift his weight to his rear foot right here and then counter back with this short right. Takeshi's going to follow up with a lead hook and check out the bob by Nicolino. Then Takeshi's going to go to the body right here. Then Takeshi's going to look for this leaping hook. Rear straight. Spin him around by Nicolino. And then we'll have a drop by Nicolino. And then a rear uppercut. And that will do it for round 4. Okay, let's get into round 5 of Nicolino versus Takeshi. And we're going to see some new patterns this round. All right, Nicolino's going to plant this lead foot and then swing his rear foot behind. And then he's going to push off this rear foot and then snap off that jab. And then right here is a good look. So head is over that lead foot. And see how his arm's fully extended. And then we're going to see this one more time, getting to that lead foot and then snapping off that jab. So Takeshi will pendulum right here, then throw his rear cross as Nicolino pulls. Now, what's interesting is if the lead hook comes from Takeshi, then Nicolino's going to roll with it back to his lead foot. Now, Takeshi doesn't throw it. Instead, he'll shift his weight to the right side of his line and come back with this rear straight. And what's neat about this is how Nicolino deals with it. He'll bob straight down over that lead foot. Now, Takeshi's going to come back with a left cross as Nicolino drops. And note at this very moment, they're both southpaws. And then now they're going to come up square and Takeshi's going to throw this hook as Nicolino drops. Now, Nicolino's going to swing his rear foot behind him right here. Now, he's going to push off this rear foot, lift this lead, and throw this lead hook to the body. Then he's going to fold out a jab, and then another. Okay, this is new. Nicolino's going to open up with his rear cross. So he'll swing this foot around right here. He's going to lift this lead and then throw that cross. And then follow up with this hook. Now, watch his feet again. This rear foot's going to swing around right here. He's going to step his lead foot to his left and then throw his lead hook. All right, Nicolino's going to get to his lead foot and fold out 2 jabs. Now, this is nice by Takeshi. Nicolino's going to flick out another jab, but this time Takeshi will look to attack on the same beat, punching with his lead with Nicolino. And a couple jabs by Nicolino. 1, 2. So Nicolino and Takeshi's heads are over their lead foot. Nicolino's going to snap out his jab as Takeshi drops right here. Now Takeshi's going to throw his overhand as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. Now Takeshi's looking to plant his lead foot right here to throw his leaping hook. But the problem for Takeshi is the fact that Nicolino will get to his lead foot faster. And once he plants, Nicolino's going to fire off this jab. Then right here, Takeshi will look for a jab. And Nicolino's going to go back to his bread and butter. He'll swing this rear foot around and throw that lead hook to the body. Then fold out some jabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Nicolino's heads over his lead foot. He's going to shift his weight to his rear foot. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, lift that lead for that lead hook to the body. Then we're going to see that again. Then I'll snap off a jab up top. Then he's going to start folding out his jabs. 1. Let's see. 2. 3. 4. 5. So Nicolino's going to open with that rear hand again, and Takeshi's going to bob down over this lead foot. Takeshi's going to spring into a leaping hook as Nicolino rolls with it to his lead foot. Now Nicolino's going to fire out his jab as Takeshi looks for his rear cross. And then right here, Nicolino's going to bob down under this hook from Takeshi. Then we have a tie-up and a break. Now Nicolino's going to come right out with that lead hook. Then again, we're going to see something new from Nicolino. He's going to throw his jab, rear cross, which I believe is the first one in this fight from Nicolino. And then he's going to fold out another jab. Okay, Takeshi will jab as Nicolino parries and pulls. Now, this is neat. Takeshi's going to throw this rear cross, and we're going to see Nicolino pull and roll with it to his rear foot. And here's going to be the neat part. Nicolino's going to get back to this lead foot right here. As Takeshi throws this lead hook, we're going to see Nicolino bob straight down. Then Takeshi throws that rear cross, and Nicolino drops. Pretty cool. All right, Nicolino will fold out his jab. Then he'll push off that rear foot for the lead hook to the body. So Nicolino's going to add a new wrinkle. He's going to swing this rear foot around. Then he's going to throw a jab, cross, but then follow up with a lead hook to the body. Then he'll go back to the body. Then we're going to see some movement. Then a drop. Tie up. Then a break. Now Nicolino's going to fire off some jabs. 1, 1, 2. 1. Then go for the body. Okay, Nicolino's going to swing that rear foot around, and note his weight is on his lead foot. So when Takeshi throws this jab, Nicolino can parry while pulling to his rear foot. Then he'll fold out a jab, some feints, jab, and another. All right, Nicolino's going to snap off this jab as Takeshi looks to bob, then throw this sleeping hook. And one thing to note, check out the rear hand cover by Nicolino. And then Nicolino's going to fire out his own jab. Then we're going to see some movement, and let's hone in on Nicolino's patterns. He will bob, weave, drop, weave, pull, drop, drop, pull, drop, then drop again. Then we'll have a tie-up. Then Nicolino's going to swing his rear foot around and throw triple hooks. Then a jab. So we'll see another new combination by Nicolino. He's going to fold out this jab, then push off this rear foot for a lead hook, then rear cross. So that's jab, hook, cross. And this is the final clip of the round. Nicolino's going to flick out this jab and then pull from this counter. And that will do it for round 5. And here we go, round 6 of Nicolino versus Takeshi. So Nicolino's over his lead foot. He'll fold out a jab, and then the same thing right here. Now check this out. Check out how his rear hand is ready to parry. And he's going to snap out a jab, and we're going to see Takeshi drop, and then take this big step looking for his rear hook to the body. And then we just saw Nicolino pull and then pendulum away. All right, Nicolino will fold out his jab, and Takeshi will look to counter with his lead, and then note the pull from Nicolino. Then Nicolino's going to come back and immediately counter Takeshi's counter. Okay, so Nicolino will swing his rear foot around right here. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, lift his lead, and throw his lead hook to the body. Then he'll get back to his lead foot and snap off a jab, and then another lead hook to the body. Now Nicolino's going to sneak this rear foot behind him, push off that rear foot, and throw a lead hook to the body. But let's hone in on Takeshi. His strategy is to shift his weight into the hook, catch it, and then counter out with his rear cross. So here's the catch, and then here's the counter. And of course, note the pull by Nicolino. So this is interesting. Nicolino's going to push off this rear foot and then step his lead foot out to throw his rear cross as a setup for his hook to the body. So there's the cross, and then there's the hook. Now, why I find this interesting is because I think this is the first time Takeshi counters a Nicolino's hook with his own hook, and it worked. Okay, Nicolino will get back to that lead foot and fold out some jabs. 1, 2. Then they'll attack each other on the same beat. So, for example, right here, Nicolino is going to go to that lead hook to the body, and Takeshi will have no response. Nicolino will fold out another jab, hook, and then triple up his jabs. All right, Nicolino will push off this rear foot, throw his lead hook to the body. And so to go down this rabbit hole a bit, Takeshi could square up, shifting his weight towards his lead foot, catch that hook, and then counter out with his own hook. Or what he prefers to do is to shift his weight towards Nicolino's hook and then catch it and then counter out with his rear cross. And again, note the pull by Nicolino to his rear foot. And then Nicolino's going to go to the body again. And again, he'll fold out a jab and another. Okay, this is a good view of Takeshi's game plan around the hook from Nicolino. See how he meets that hook before Nicolino has the full whip on his punch? And that's an idea to chew on. If you shorten the distance by meeting the punch, that punch's effectiveness is reduced. Maybe instead of 100% power, let's say it's 50%. Now, I don't want to go into exact percentages, but let me know if that idea resonates. So back to Takeshi, notice how his lead foot is off the ground. He'll follow up with his rear cross as Nicolino pulls to that rear foot. And then Nicolino will fold out some jabs. 1, 2, 3. So Nicolino will fire out a jab as Takeshi looks to block it on that lead foot. Then he's going to follow up with this leaping hook. And then Takeshi will catch Nicolino with this jab. And then we'll have another jab and check out that down parry. Then right here, Nicolino will fold out some jabs. 1, 2. Now back to it, lead hook from Nicolino. Then he'll fold out this jab right here and then throw this lead hook to keep Takeshi on that lead foot and then follow up with this rear cross and then back to that lead hook. He'll fold out a jab, then another one, and then lead hook. All right, we'll have more of the same. Lead hook to the body. Then he'll get to that lead foot and throw his jab, another jab. Hook to the body right here, and then one more jab. Okay, Nicolino's over that lead foot. Takeshi will jab as Nicolino pulls. So Takeshi's going to throw this leaping hook to get Nicolino rolling towards his lead foot. Then he's going to follow up with this rear cross. But Nicolino knows this pattern, and he'll drop down right here. Now, Takeshi's going to follow up with this hook, and we're going to see a drop from Nicolino again. And then we'll have a tie-up and a break. Then triple jabs from Nicolino. He'll fold out another one. Then again, and then this hook, and he'll fold out 3 more. Now Nicolino's going to snap off another jab as Takeshi looks to get to his lead foot to throw this leaping hook. And note the pull by Nicolino. Now Nicolino is going to pull or roll with this rear cross and then drop under this hook and then pull from that rear uppercut. Then right here is going to eat this lead hook to the body. Then we'll have some light grappling. All right, right here they'll break and Nicolino's going to snap off some jabs. 1, 2, 3, lead hook to the body. Then Takeshi's going to load on this lead foot and throw a leaping hook. And then he's going to follow up with another hook as Nicolino drops. Then Nicolino is going to pull or roll with this rear cross. And then we're going to see that again, but Nicolino added a weave to escape. Okay, Takeshi will push off this rear foot and throw a lead hook to the body as Nicolino drops. Then Takeshi's going to follow up with this rear cross as Nicolino pulls. Then we're going to see triple jabs by Nicolino. Then another jab and another. Then a jab cross. And then looking for that lead hook to the body. Then a lead hook right here. Another jab and another. And Nicolino throws jab, cross, hook. And then another hook. A jab. And that will do it for round 6. All right, let's get into round 7 of Nicolino versus Takeshi. All right, Nicolino's on his lead foot, and he's going to go ahead and fold out a jab. And then he's going to go ahead and get back to that lead foot again right here, fold out another, and again. All right, Nicolino's going to fire out this jab as Takeshi slips inside right here. And now he got to this lead foot so he could throw his leaping uppercut. And then Nicolino's going to get back to that lead foot and throw out a jab. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this is a neat sequence. Nicolino's going to jab as Takeshi shifts his weight over this lead foot right here. Takeshi's going to throw his leaping hook while Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. But not only pulls, he's going to bring this check hook with him. Then fold out another jab. So Nicolino's going to fold out his jab, staying on this lead foot right here. Now Takeshi's going to step to this lead foot, looking for his overhand. And Nicolino's going to pull and look to bring his hook with him. But the pull isn't quite far enough as it gets caught right here. He'll then bob under this hook from Takeshi. Then he's going to drop under this rear cross. And then drop under the hook. Pull from this cross. And then look to catch this hook to the body right here. And then he'll look to control, then tie up and break. All right, Nicolino's going to swing his rear foot around and then snap off a jab. And check out how he braces in case the lead hook from Takeshi should come right here. And then Nicolino's going to snap on another jab as Takeshi does get to the lead foot, looking for his body again. And one more time, check out how he braces, then controls. And then right here, Nicolino's going to drop under the rear cross from Takeshi. And then he's going to go to the body right there. All right, Nicolino will throw out his jab and then triple hooks, another jab, and then one more jab right here. Then he's going to catch this hook to the body. And then check out this lead arm control right here by Nicolino. Then we'll have a tie up and a break. Now Nicolino's going to fire out some jabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Takeshi's going to get to this lead foot and throw a leaping hook as Nicolino pulls. Then he'll snap off a jab, hook, some movement, a jab, and another one. All right, Nicolino will fire out a double jab, another one, hook to the body, head, jab, and one more. Okay, Takeshi will throw his jab rear cross as Nicolino pulls, then drops. Then Takeshi's going to throw this hook to the body. Then a rear cross as Nicolino pulls. Then Nicolino's going to snap off a jab, then triple it up. Look for a hook to the body, then jab, and one more. Now Nicolino will throw a jab, cross, hook. Then another jab. Another. Then catch this leaping uppercut from Takeshi. So Nicolino's going to push off his rear foot, lift his lead for a lead hook to the body. Then he'll get to his lead foot, throw out a jab. Then follow up with more. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, Takeshi will get to this lead foot for his leaping hook. And check out this drop right here by Nicolino. He was worried about a cross following from Takeshi. And this right here is interesting. So Nicolino's weight is on his rear foot. Takeshi's going to throw his rear cross. And note how Nicolino will kick this lead foot to his left, which allows him to rotate his shoulders and roll with that rear cross. Okay, Nicolino will circle to his left and snap out a double jab. Then he'll fire off 3 more jabs right here. Then a lead hook to the body, then head. Now Nicolino will snap out a jab, then rear cross. I'm going to see a lead hook, and then fold out another jab. So Nicolino's going to bob under the jab from Takeshi, then snap off his own. Then we're going to see a bunch of feints, then a real jab, then rear uppercut. Now he's going to bob under this hook from Takeshi, and then weave to his rear foot. Then we're going to see Takeshi look for the body right here. And then note this lead arm control from Nicolino. Then we're going to have a tie-up, break, rear uppercut from Nicolino. Then that will do it for round 7. All right, here we go. Nicolino versus Takeshi, round 8. So Nicolino will throw this lead hook to the body, and Takeshi will catch and then look to counter out with his lead as Nicolino pulls. Then Nicolino will circle left and double jab. Now Takeshi's going to get to this lead foot, throwing out his jab as Nicolino pulls and parries right here. Then he's going to go ahead and fold out his jab. And then we're going to see some movement. Okay, Nicolino got to his lead foot. He'll fold out his jab, and then he'll fold out another right here. Now, Takeshi's looking for his rear cross, and note the pull by Nicolino. Nicolino will get back to that lead foot and fold out a jab, and again. All right, Nicolino will feint his lead, and note Takeshi's reaction. Then Nicolino's going to go to the body, and then another lead hook, jab, and then he'll snap out another. So Nicolino will snap off a jab, then move. Now Takeshi will throw a jab, rear hook, as Nicolino pulls, then drops. Then Nicolino's going to get back to this lead foot, pull the rear cross from Takeshi, then bob down over that lead foot, getting caught with this hook. Then pull the cross, jab, hook, double jab, jab cross, and another jab. Okay, Nicolino will throw his rear straight. Then he's going to circle to the left, snap off a jab. Then right here, he's going to push off his rear foot, lift his lead, looking for this lead hook to the body. All right, Nicolino will throw this hook to keep Takeshi towards his lead foot. Then he's going to follow up with a rear cross. Then right here, he's swung this rear foot around. He's going to push off that rear foot, lift his lead, throwing that lead hook to the body. So Nicolino will jab, then triple it up. Then we'll see a bob and weave, drop, bob. Now this is neat. Nicolino's going to get to this lead foot, leap off, throwing a leaping hook. Then he's going to snap off a jab. And then he's going to pull Takeshi's cross counter. And then he's going to fold out some jabs. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Nicolino will snap out his jab as Takeshi drops. Then he'll fire out some more as Takeshi looks to block. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now right here, he's going to change it up. He'll throw a jab, hook, rear straight. And then another jab. All right, Takeshi's going to use his lead to pin Nicolino over that rear foot. Then he's going to catch him with this rear cross. Now, he's going to follow up with his hook as Nicolino bobs down over that lead foot. And then he's going to throw another rear cross, and note the pull by Nicolino. Again, he's going to bob under this hook and then drop under the rear cross. Now, if you notice right here, they're both southpaws at this moment. Takeshi's going to throw his rear cross, and Nicolino's going to drop over his left foot and then weave back to his right. So Nicolino's heads over his lead foot. He's going to snap off 3 jabs, rear cross, lead hook. Then we'll have a tie-up and a break. Then he'll fold out some jabs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now Nicolino is going to fire out his jab as Takeshi gets his weight over his lead foot, throwing this leaping hook. And then Nicolino will snap out a jab right here. Okay, now Nicolino will throw his lead hook and then look for his rear hook. And then one more time, he's looking for this lead hook as Takeshi looks to counter with his own hook. Now Nicolino is going to drop and then weave to his lead foot to pendulum away. All right, Nicolino will fire out 4 jabs, then throw this rear uppercut. And one thing to check out, notice how Nicolino controls Takeshi's lead elbow. Then we're going to have some movement. So Nicolino is going to snap off 2 jabs over that lead foot. So that's 1, 2. Now Takeshi will pendulum again and look to control Nicolino with that lead hand. He'll throw his rear cross and Nicolino is going to roll with it and then counter back with this short right. Now Takeshi gets stuck on this lead foot, so he's going to look to counter out with his hook, and we're going to see Nicolino bob down over that lead foot and then weave to his rear foot. He'll throw an uppercut right here, and then he's going to pull this cross, counter uppercut, hook to the body, another uppercut, rear hook. Now he's going to roll with Takeshi's counter, and then he's going to counter back. And then he's going to catch this hook from Takeshi right here. And then we're going to see some movement. Okay, Nicolino will throw his rear uppercut, rear hook, and then lead hook, and then double it up. All right, rear uppercut by Nicolino. Then he's going to bob down Takeshi's hook, rear uppercut, double jab, rear straight, and that's a wrap for round 8. Here we go. This is the last round of Nicolino versus Takeshi. All right, Nicolino's going to step on this lead foot and fold out a jab. Now, as soon as this rear foot hits, he's going to push off that rear foot, snap off another jab, and then one more time. Now, Takeshi's going to step on this lead foot, throw a rear hook to the body as Nicolino pulls. Then he'll throw a lead hook, rear hook to the body, lead. Now right here, Takeshi's going to throw another rear hook to the body, but Nicolino's looking to punch on the same beat with his rear uppercut. Then he's going to go ahead and weave under Takeshi's counter hook, going from his lead foot to his rear foot. Then he's going to go ahead and pull this overhand, look to counter with an uppercut, drop under this hook. He'll fire off a jab, look to catch and counter. We'll have a rear uppercut, a slew of jabs. Then again, he's going to catch Takeshi's counter. So Nicolino's head is toward his lead foot, and Takeshi's going to throw his rear cross as Nicolino pulls to his rear foot. Now this is neat. He's going to spring off his rear foot to his lead foot right here, and then he's going to bob down under this lead hook from Takeshi. Now right here, he's going to walk through his pendulum. So his lead foot is going to replace his rear foot, and then his rear foot is going to kick out. So there's the replace, there's the kick out. He throws a hook, he's going to double it up, and then throw out a jab. Okay, as soon as Nicolino's rear foot hits, he's going to fold out a jab. Then he's going to pull or roll with this rear hand from Takeshi. And then he's going to catch this lead hook to the body. Now note how Nicolino's shoulders are square. He's going to swing his rear foot back. And when it lands, he's going to throw a lead hook. And then fold out a jab. Get back to the ropes. Then a little uppercut. We'll have a tie-up. And a break. All right, Takeshi's going to throw a lead hook to the body, and Nicolino's going to counter with a rear uppercut. He'll fold out a jab right here. Now, Takeshi's going to throw a lead hook to the body and follow up the rear straight, and Nicolino's going to catch that hook, and then he's going to pull this rear straight and then counter back with his short right. Now, he's going to go ahead and bob down over this lead foot and weave to his rear foot, getting under Takeshi's counter hook. So Nicolino's going to swing this rear foot around, then push off and step off a jab. Then he's going to throw this hook to the body, rear hook, lead hook. He'll double it up, and then he's going to catch this counter. Okay, Nicolino's going to pull to his rear foot and throw a rear uppercut. He's going to weave back to his rear foot with a short right. He's going to catch this counter. And then right here, he's going to pull that rear across, jab, and then look to catch this leaping hook. Now Nicolino's controlling Takeshi's lead. He's going to put his weight on his rear foot and throw a rear uppercut. Then lead hook. Then he's going to go ahead and step on this lead foot looking for another hook. And okay, so Nicolino's going to throw his rear hook while Takeshi throws his lead hook on the same beat. And why this is neat is because Nicolino has built-in defense. His rear hook is going to bring his head over his lead foot, and he's going to bob down and weave back towards his rear foot. Then he's going to go ahead and fold out two jabs, rear uppercut. And once again, something cool, he's looking to weave while bringing his lead hook with him. And then throw a rear uppercut. All right, Nicolino will throw his rear uppercut. And again, then they're both going to look to hook out. Then another rear uppercut by Nicolino. Nothing by Takeshi. Then right here is going to be a short right by Takeshi. Nicolino rear uppercut. Again. Another. And then right here, Nicolino's a southpaw, and he's going to throw a rear cross. So Nicolino's going to throw a rear hook to the body while Takeshi looks to counter with his lead. Then we'll have a short right from Nicolino, rear uppercut, and then another. Now he's looking for his lead hook as he pulls from Takeshi's. Then he'll fire out a jab. Okay, this is neat. Nicolino's going to spring off this lead foot and move back. And two things to note. He kept his head over his lead foot, and that's important so he could throw this lead hook. All right, now his weight's going to be on his rear foot to throw this rear uppercut. Now his head is going to be over his left foot, and he's going to bob down and weave to his right foot, getting under Takeshi's leaping hook. Then he gets back to this lead foot for a hook, straight, rear uppercut. He'll catch this one and then throw a hook. Now we'll see a rear uppercut by Nicolino. And then he's going to go ahead and step this rear foot back to throw his lead hook. Then he's going to go ahead and catch this hook to the body right here. Now he's going to, for this very moment, he's going to be a southpaw and then throw a lead uppercut. All right, his head's over his lead foot. He's going to throw this hook. And then he's going to go ahead and weave and then catch this hook from Takeshi. So check out this shoulder bump by Nicolino, which gives him the space to throw that hook. And then right here, he's going to throw a lead uppercut. Then we'll have a little bit of movement. Okay, we have something else to chew on. Nicolino's going to step this lead foot back, and when it lands, he'll put himself in a southpaw stance. But while completing that step back, he's going to throw his rear hook, which in theory is his lead hook once he lands. Then right here, he'll throw a left hook. A little bit of a shove. Now Nicolino throw his rear hook as Takeshi looks for his rear cross. Then Nicolino throw an uppercut hook. Then triple uppercuts. And that will do it for round 9 and this whole series. Takeshi never got off the stool for round 10. That's it. Thanks for listening, everyone.